I mean, getting steals, I don't know if that's just that's a part of playing defense, but you know, he's pretty good, but he doesn't guard the best point guards. I think they do a good job of putting a couple guys on Russell, from Thompson to Iguodala, and you know, Steph, though, they throw him in there sometimes. He moves his feet pretty well. He's good with his hands, but you know, I like our matchup with him guarding Russ.
Stephen A., is this a laughing matter?
Yes, it is. Absolutely, without question. And that's no disrespect to Steph Curry. It's about Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is unguardable one-on-one. There is no one in the NBA, there is no one in the world of basketball that can guard Russell Westbrook. Any member of 30 teams in the National Basketball Association, you take the best defensive player, and that includes Kawhi Leonard of the San Antonio Spurs. I don't give a damn who you pick. One-on-one with no help, guarding Russell Westbrook is as futile as it gets. That assassin that he is, please. It's not. It is laughable. And Steph Curry, obviously a good defender, obviously much improved. He's not an elite defender. Big-time steal, strip of Kevin Durant last night, late in the game, deserves credit for that. Does have good hands, has moved his feet better, is no scrub defensively. But Steph Curry can't guard Russell Westbrook one-on-one. It's impossible. Just like nobody can guard Steph Curry one-on-one. They certainly can't guard Russell Westbrook one-on-one. So I don't blame Russell Westbrook for laughing. Because you know what? When you are as elite of a talent as Russell Westbrook is, and somebody looks at you and says a particular player can guard you one-on-one, I'd laugh too. Especially if it's Steph Curry, because here's why. All the elite point guards in the game, whether it's Chris Paul or anybody else, would tell you that Steph Curry is usually not the one guarding them. It's usually a Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala. Steph Curry might have some spots where he finds himself on them, but for the most part, that's never his responsibility. He's usually the one being hidden. Just like in this series, you saw him on Roberson, or you saw him on a Dion Waiters. Steve Kerr was trying to hide him earlier in this series. And sometimes he found himself on Russell Westbrook, and they were salivating. And why was Oklahoma City looking so lethal in games 3 and 4? It was because primarily whoever Steph was guarding, Billy Donovan made sure those individuals touched the basketball. He wanted guys attacking Steph Curry. When you are an elite defender, they don't do that to you. But when you're not, they'll do it as much as they can. And when you're talking about a Russell Westbrook, who even elite defenders fear the fact that somebody would ask that Steph Curry could guard him one-on-one, all due respect, that's laughable.
Okay, timeout. That was not the question. The question was about whether Steph is an underrated defender. It wasn't about can Steph shut down Russell. That wasn't where it was going. It was just that Steph is so disruptive with 5 more steals. By the way, Steph Curry led the NBA in steals. To Russell's credit, he was second in overall steals. But that was not the question. And by the way, if I'm just comparing them as solo defenders, I think that was the pot laughing at the kettle, because Russell has at least as many on-the-ball deficiencies as Steph Curry does. In fact, I might take Steph as a nose-to-nose defender on anybody over Russell. They both can roam. They have great vision. They have great instincts. Both have very quick and disruptive hands. But as on-the-ball defenders, I got to tell you, Russell, over the years, has not been great. At times, he has been a liability. So I don't want to hear that. And for you to defend his laughing at the 2-time MVP, the unanimous MVP this year, I'm sorry, that's one guy you better not laugh at, because to laugh at Steph Curry is to challenge Steph Curry, and we know what has happened in the past. If you make this slender little 6'3" guard mad, he will burn you. He will burn you down. And I love it that Russell laughed at the question, or stifled laughter at the question.
Yeah, but that's usually because you're missing the point. No surprise there. First of all, we're not talking about Steph Curry's offense. We're talking about Steph Curry's defense. Steph Curry, as far as I'm concerned, is unguardable too because he's the greatest shooter on the planet. There's nobody that could guard Steph Curry. Steph Curry will dance on anybody. But just because you drop 50 doesn't mean that you can guard. That's number one. Number two, you are talking on this show to an individual who covered a gentleman by the name of Allen Iverson for the first 10 years of his career. And he was always one of the steals leaders.
He was.
That didn't mean that he could guard somebody one-on-one.
Yep.
It meant he took chances and that he anticipated very well, which Steph Curry does. That's point number two. It's a basketball lesson for you. Point number three, when you look at straight up man-to-man, when you look at straight up man-to-man, what happens with Russell Westbrook is that Russell Westbrook is usually trying to take chances because he's usually trying to push the ball up the floor. But when you talk about Russell Westbrook in terms of that's not the question, it doesn't matter what the question is. It was interpreted as that. Is Steph Curry an underrated defender, whatever? Why would Russell Westbrook laugh? Russell Westbrook wouldn't laugh because Steph Curry is sticking Dion Waiters. Russell Westbrook wouldn't laugh because Steph Curry is Hassan Robertson. Russell Westbrook would laugh because Russell Westbrook is imagining, like almost NBA superstar would, that if you address that question to him, you are implying that this kid can guard me. That is the way that basketball players interpret a question like that. So it doesn't matter how the question was framed. It matters how it was interpreted, because why else would Russell Westbrook be laughing at it? So in the end, what it comes down to is this. Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry are both unguardable. They are both lethal offensive players. As far as I'm concerned, there's nobody that can guard either one of them. But to ask Russell Westbrook if Steph Curry, is he an underrated defensive player or whatever, you're essentially asking Russell Westbrook, can this brother guard you? And to me, Russell Westbrook has a right to laugh at such a notion, because as far as I'm concerned, neither of them can guard each other.
That's correct.
And there's no shame in that.
And by
They're
the way,
both too lethal
for
to
the
be
record,
guarded.
the question was asked not to Russell, but to Kevin Durant. So just for the record, Russell's sitting next to him trying to stifle laughter. Okay? So
well, we all know that Steph Curry's not guarding Kevin Durant.
It was just a general question. He had five more steals. He was disruptive on defense. He took the ball away from Kevin Durant at the key moment of the game. Am I right about that? Was that not the key pivotal moment?
Well, I tell you what. Let's take Steph Curry's marksmanship, his elite marksmanship aside, and you have him. Put him on your all-defensive team then, Skip. Go ahead.
I'm not. You going to put Russell on your all-defensive team? No.
I would trust Russell manning up, on the ball, an on-ball defender. Would I trust Russell Westbrook to man up and accept that challenge? More so than Steph Curry? Yeah, I would.
So you're questioning Steph's manhood?
Now you know better.
Okay, well, it's just coming across that way.
One-on-one defensively. That's ridiculous, Skip.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Last question.
I'm talking basketball.
Hypothetically.
Manhood. What are you talking about?
Hypothetically, Russell versus Steph, one-on-one, who wins? Who's your money on?
Steph Curry, because Steph Curry's a better shooter.
That's correct.
That's not the point.
It is to
me.
Look,
you know what? Let's move on to the next time. I have no time to teach you basketball right now. I don't have any time. I mean, how do you want one or the other? Who wouldn't take the better shooter? Who wouldn't? He's the best shooter in the world.
Yeah, but you're talking
one-on-one,
about
who would you take?
You take the better defender, Russell Westbrook.
And who you're guarding throughout the league.
Okay.
Who you're guarding throughout the league. Who would somebody fear more in terms of defensively? You think about Steph Curry, his offense is his most potent defense. No disrespect. He's a two-time league MVP. He's the greatest shooter I've ever seen.
Okay.
But you don't think about Steph Curry and say, oh, my goodness, defense. You think about Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala on the Golden State Warriors more than you think about Steph Curry defensively.
Russell Westbrook just showed zero respect for Steph Curry. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Because Steph will remember.
Let me tell you something. Russell Westbrook doesn't need Skip Bayless trying to instigate stuff
I'm not
so
instigating,
it can be highly competitive. They'll be highly competitive on their own without your help. Trust me.
It reminds me of something my mom and dad used to teach me. You don't need to motivate the enemy any more than they are already motivated.
Good point, Jen.
Up next.
Well, you know what? Hey, you ain't scared of it. He ain't scared. You know what? The elite players ain't scared of the enemies. Let's get it on.
Yep.
I don't think
Let's
Russell
see
Westbrook's
what we have
scared.
coming up next. We'll take a look at the Eastern Conference Finals. Will LeBron finish off the Raptors in their house tonight? That debate after the break.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.